Welcome back, folks, to our Vanguard ZERO Content Creator Invitational. In our next match, we have Mr.Timeleap, aka Vanguard Insider, versus WCC HongWai from WCC. Okay, let's go into the first round of the game. Let's see what these two have in store for us. And it does look like it's going to be a mirror match. Royal Paladin versus Royal Paladin. We'll play the mulligan. Take a look at what's going on now.
Stand up! Vanguard! Stand and draw!
HongWai taking the first move, riding K.
Stand and draw! Ride!
Mr.Timeleap doing the same thing. Truly is a mirror match. But is he gonna give him the damage or damage deny him? Oh, and it does look like he'll be going for the damage deny option. However, it does look like Hong is at a pretty good advantage right now, having 1, 2, 3 sentinels in his hand. Now he's debating whether or not to call anything. Okay, is he gonna also damage deny as well? Yes, he is. Looks like both players are going for the damage deny strategy. Both are also on Blaster Blade. Oh, and it looks like Mr.Timeleap is going for the first attack. Oh, interesting. There goes HongWai's Mr. Y's 4th Sentinel. Ooh, not riding. Obviously does not want to ride the Paladin, so he wants to search out for his Magical Blaster, I'm guessing. Very decent strategy, very effective, and it looks like both of them are on the offensive now. Okay, searching for the Magical Blaster for the next turn. He does have 3 Sentinels in his hand still, so it does make sense that he can skip riding for 1 turn because he does have the defensive capabilities. And there's Mr.Timeleap going for a double Ganslot to grab 2 Blaster Blades. First is Blaster Arc. Oh, and then a Paladin is interesting. Very interesting. He's going for Blaster Dark to Blaster Blade. I think he can get off 3 attacks this turn because Paladin is, with the boost of Marin, capable to hit Blaster Blade even if Y got a trigger. Mr. Timeleap did get the ability to Magical Blaster off, however, Y was able to defend with a Sentinel. Okay. However, it does look like Y did needed that 3rd counter blast in order to use Alfred, so he is definitely going to be behind in this case, not being able to use Majesty or Blaster right away. It's a very interesting card too. Rainbow Unicorn? Starlight Unicorn? There you go, Starlight Unicorn. You can give 2k power to Majesty or Blaster. going for the Palamedes first, and since he did not get a trigger, that means Wai's Majesty Lord Blaster will still be able to hit Mr. Timeleap's Majesty Lord Blaster.
Vanguard にアタック。ファーストチェック。セカンドチェック。ダメージチェック。ゲット。ドロートリガー。
He's able to deal 2 damage to Mr. Timeleap, however he does get the draw trigger in the end to recover some resources. Ooh, now choosing to use Blaster Blade and retiring the Alfred, a good move. That way, Mr. Y cannot use Alfred to hit out the missing Blaster Blade from his deck. Now he has to hope that he draws into it. And plus, since he has no interceptors, Mr. Timeleap is free to attack whichever card he wants. But he still does have 2 more Sentinels. So this Majesty Lord Blaster attack is not going through. Oh, and he is aiming for the Palamedes to weaken Mr. Y's attacks. Oh, lucky for him. He did get the Ganfall to pull out the Blaster Blade from his deck. And he's going to use it to retire Mr. Timeleap's Palamedes. Like, another good choice. He's taking care of that Blaster Blade. And now moving into the Majesty Lord Blaster attack. However, because the meta right now, a lot of people are running draw triggers over critical triggers, he won't be able to finish off Mr. Timeleap's turn. But he still has 1 more Sentinel on hand, so he might be able to pull through this turn, depending on the triggers this turn. And there's a heal trigger for Mr. Timeleap. I'm gonna put it to... Personally, I would go with the Palamedes just to make it a 26 hit hitter. So that even if he gets a trigger from the Majesty Lord Blaster attack, he can still hit it. However, it doesn't matter because he got double triggers. And there goes HongWai's last Sentinel. The defensive draw trigger, but we know that's not a Sentinel, so you have to hope for a heal trigger at this point. And unfortunately, that is not a heal trigger, so Mr. Timeleap takes the first match, first game. Okay guys, we're moving on to the second game of WCC HongWai versus Mr. Timeleap. And this time, HongWai is going first. Okay, opening up, HongWai does have an okay hand. He has a Majesty Lord Blaster and a means to get Blaster Blade into his hand, but not the second or third Blaster. But he did get the Star Call Trumpeter, and he drew the Blaster Blade, so all he needs to work on is getting that Blaster Dark. Starting night off with K. Okay, Mr. Timeleap is in a bit of a pickle now. He does have Majesty Lord Blaster, but he doesn't have Blaster Dark or even a spare Blaster for next turn to use for Wingo Brave. Let's see if he's gonna do the damage deny strategy this time, or is he actually going to attack first thing? Oh, instead he's actually gonna use the Lien to discard Marin to draw 1 card, and he top decks the Blaster Blade. Never mind folks, he's in quite the good position right now. pretty even actually now I think about it.
ライド頼んだわよ
Okay, HongWai also using the Calling Lien. See, given his hand, can't really tell if he's actually going to use her ability or not. Oh, and he is. Discarding his Trumpeter to draw an Apollomedes. Oh, oof. And it is a draw trigger too. Maybe not the best move. Okay. Timely pulls into Blaster Blade. Let's see if he's gonna also deny him damage this turn again. Or are we finally gonna get to see some Vanguard on Vanguard action? Oh, and there goes the truth they had, attacking into a draw trigger. First blood goes to Mr.Timeleap. Okay, HongWai going into Zero Blaster and then using Cancel to get his Blaster Blade, but he doesn't have a Blaster Dark yet. Hoping to grab one out from Lien and going for a second Lien to try to get Blaster Dark, which unfortunately he doesn't get. Now he's forced to call the Zero Blaster. Okay. He does have the open counter blaster. He can use Wingle Brave to search for the Blaster Dark. And Mr. Timeleap checks into a heal trigger. So only 1 damage total for him this turn. Mr. Timeleap being able to top deck that Blaster Dark, so he's now able to set up for Majesty Lord Blaster. So what kind of offensive strategies they go for now? Is they call the Bedivere? Okay, now they're gonna call the K behind the Blaster Dark. Oh, it looks like he is. Looks like he's going for a full assault. Oh, and unfortunately, HongWai got that draw trigger, making it so that his Blaster Dark can't attack his Vanguard, but he can attack the rear guard Majesty Lord Blaster. He's all set up for Majesty Lord Blaster now. Now let's see if he gets a trigger too. Oh. No trigger, but he does deal 2 damage. 1 being cancelled out by a heal trigger. And followed by a draw trigger. And he is gonna use the Wingle Brave still. Let's see what he's searching for. Interesting move, thinning out his deck by grabbing that Blaster Dark, saving his Blaster Blades for Gansalot, I'm guessing. HongWai sending his Gansalot back to search for another Blaster Blade. He does have 3 open counter blasters. Is he going to choose to retire? And he is choosing to retire the Bedivere. And calling his own Bedivere. Followed by a Blaster Dark. Now, unlike last game, Mr. Timeleap is the one now with the 3 Sentinels, so he's gonna have a pretty easy time guarding all these attacks. Or at least the major ones. Hey look, and there's his 4th Sentinel like last game. Semi-final. Okay, Mr. Timeleap going for the Blaster Dark. Proceeding with battle.
リアガードにアタック。ヴァンガードにアタック。ファーストチェック。ドロートリガー。
He's going to try to go for more damage. However, HongWai does have a Sentinel which he'll be using to guard against that Magic or Blast attack.
スタンド&ドロー。頼んだわよ。来て。リアガードにアタック。ヴァンガードにアタック。ファーストチェック。セカンドチェック。
And just like with Mr. Timeleap, he does also have a Sentinel, so that attack is not going through.
ヴァンガードにアタック。
ダメージチェック。ドロートリガー。
But the benefit is going to hit. However, Mr. Timeleap does get that draw trigger, and he gets another Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark. Is he gonna go for
頼んだよ。
the little sneaky little plays to use a Magic or Blaster skill again? Let's find out.
お願い。
Oh, it does look like he's setting up for it.
アタック。ヴァンガードにアタック。発動。
Oh, interesting. He's not using both skills.
セカンドチェック。
He doesn't get a trigger though, so if HongWai doesn't get a trigger during these 2 damage, then that attack is still hitting him. Which he does, he gets a draw trigger. Forcing Mr. Timeleap to end his turn a little early.
スタンド&ドロー。スキル発動。
See, he's using a Lien. Now he's using a second Lien. He's desperate for attackers right now.
来て。
So far he has a Bedivere. And calling for K. Now those two are able to take down Mr. Timeleap's interceptors.
ヴァンガードにアタック。ファーストチェック。セカンドチェック。
However, he still has a Sentinel to block this attack again.
スタンド&ドロー。
And top decks against what? Oh, but because he doesn't have any more Blaster Blades in his deck, he can't send it back. So he might as well call it to try to take down an Interceptor, right?
アタック。
Or another attack in case HongWai has the Sentinel, which he does. He attack with the Genslot first to try to bait out the perfect the Sentinel, and he is. And unfortunately, there goes the last Sentinel.
ヴァンガードにアタック。ファーストチェック。ドロートリガー。
Okay, now HongWai has to hope for 2 heal triggers, which is very unlikely. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's 1 heal trigger. Is he gonna get the second one? Oh, unfortunately he did not. So with a score of 2-0, Mr. Timeleap has defeated WCC HongWai and will be proceeding to the semi-final matches. What a very interesting game, a very intense game, and we hope to see more of that from Mr. Timeleap in the later rounds. So stay tuned for more on him.